Morning and good afternoon, everybody in our community. Thank you for joining us. This is our kickoff demo session for the DoraHacks AEZ Quadratic funding and voting rounds. As you know, we're a few rounds into this already, and we have some new grantees, some new faces here, and also, we have a lot of other cool teams as well that'll be joining us that you haven't heard from before, some that you have. We have Lavender 5 with their Cosmos on-chain registry. We have pessimistic validation here, of course. Returning chain abstraction, new to this as well. And then La Multisig, of course, with Milstein down there. Just to let everybody know, this is in response to Prop 917, where we got 80,000 Atom and 200,000 USDC to allocate to all these incredible teams building public goods in Cosmos. And I'm trying to run through this because there's a lot, and we got a lot of cool stuff coming. You, the community, have an opportunity to weigh in here to see where and decide where that matching pool goes to. And here are four incredible teams again. For this round, we have 8,000 Atom, 333,333 USDC. I'm going to round that off so it's easier for everybody. Just call it 30,000-ish right now, 33,000-ish. But let's hear from some of these teams that are going to be receiving our grants for this round. And more info you can find at dorahacks.io/AEZ. Lavender 5 Erdman, are you ready to go for this? Were you able to figure it out?
I'm just going to wing it without a video. That's all good. We don't have a demo, so we don't need it.
Okay. Lavender 5, please tell us.
Yeah, very short description. Hello, everyone. We've been public contributors for a little over 3 years now. As soon as we started the validator, currently we run a business where we validate on a little over 60 chains, and we do RPC access and other infrastructure. And as part of that, we support as many projects in Cosmos as we can. This means that roughly 2 years ago, we started doing basically most of the work for the chain registry, which is an ecosystem project under the /Cosmos GitHub repository, which simply shows information about every single Cosmos chain that exists. And this is anything from the fee they use to the version of CosmWasm that they're on, to the APIs that are listed, to the IBC channels they have operated, and anything like that. And over time, it grew to be a library that was used by many applications within the ecosystem. Anything from Leap, how they operate, like their staking fees and stuff like that, and their dashboards, to the Cosmos directory, to Restake app, to Kepler. Well, if you build an interface that is multi-chain in Cosmos, you're most likely using the chain registry. And this includes relayer softwares like Relay and Hermes. So over time, our work has become more and more important, and the chain registry has grown more and more, not just by the amount of chains, but also by the exact information that it provides. So at this point, it has some automation tooling, but it's mostly governed by three people, which is Jeremy, who is an employee of Osmosis, and then there is James and Schultze. And James and Schultze are the founder and the head system admin of Lavender 5. Together, they make 60 to 70% of the commits on the chain registry, which are not related to personal resources. So there are some commits on the chain registry that users do for themselves, like, hey, I want to list this service I employ, so they'll put it there. But anybody who sort of doesn't have like an affiliation, all those other commits are basically fielded by these people. And that also means they service any commits, pull requests, and whatever that comes in from other entities. So if you're a new chain in Cosmos, you'll likely interface with us at some point to verify that everything you do is correct. If you have a hard fork, you'll come to us to make sure that it's all correctly versioned and stuff like that. If you set up an archive node using Kive and don't know what exact versioning you need to use for every block, you'll come to us, and so forth. So we're basically the maintainers of this, and we've done this for free as a public good for a very long time. Tried finding resources at some point with maybe the AA DAO and the ICF, but it was clear that this is something that's for the entire Cosmos, and therefore not necessarily to be funded by the Cosmos Hub. And it's really for like the entire Atom economic zone and everybody within that. That's how we grew well, interested to maybe figure out if we can employ a grant. So that's what we did. We registered for round 3. This is our first round where we will be participating, and we have set out a few milestones. Besides the maintenance, which I already mentioned, we have a few tooling ideas we want to provide to the chain registry, which will simplify basically the maintenance for us over the long run. These are things like automatically checking whether all the APIs that are listed work, checking whether the transaction fees that are listed are actually usable on chain. If I purchase this asset and try to do a transaction, can I actually make the transaction? It's a liveness checker for all the IBC channels. Like, is there any updates we need to provide? Are Relay and Hermes still up to date with these specific channels and so forth? And all of these toolings are listed in our milestones. And these will mostly be GitHub actions. We already have a lot of these, but we can always grow it so that the maintenance over time becomes lower. And then there is some specific backfilling that needs to be provided. There are certain chains which the foundation themselves might not keep up with this chain registry file, and we might not be validators, so they haven't been looked at in a long time. And we are going back and looking at all of these chains and fixing that. So yeah, that's sort of our milestones we set out. You can view them on the grant if you want to be more specific, but hopefully some of these will be implemented over the coming months. And then in general, one thing to note is that not all of this funding is going to us. We're sending 25% of this funding to Tom from EcoStake, which is a contributor to the Cosmos directory, which is something that's basically putting the chain registry into an API so that at any moment in time, anywhere, anyone can query the information from the chain registry through a direct endpoint. And he also has a validator directory and all kinds of other things that fall back on the chain registry, and also serves an RPC endpoint to, I think right now it's almost 100 chains. Every chain that's listed on the chain registry and has public validator commits will also have an API endpoint by him, which are things that are generally used by explorers like PingPop and so forth. So it's a very used reference and resource, and he pays all the hosting costs, which I know are very high. So we wanted to give him some part of the funding so he can make sure that he pays those bills into the future, and the chain registry is actually being used and not just being developed. And then another 25% of the funding is set aside for people that want to contribute. So if anyone wants to contribute and it's clear that they've been doing PRs that are not related to their own chain for a long period of time, then we have the discretion to send them some funds and respect their input. So yeah, anything you send here, it will be used for the chain registry maintenance and everything that's related to that. And we'll make sure that we put up a forum post or a milestone post at least every every period that will show where the funding went and how much we got, and whether Tom had enough to pay his hosting bills. And that's what you'll see from us. So thanks. If you want to support us, you can contribute Atom, I think, and you can vote if you are an Atom staker. So yeah, consider doing that. And thanks for the platform, Trevor.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking for good builders doing or trying to do great things in Cosmos. I know there are a lot of unsung heroes, and our goal is to elevate and support and give kind of like a leg up to a lot of our public goods builders. You being one of them, and the rest of these incredible teams in here, and our other grantees as well. So if you, those of you listening, DoraHacks.io /AEZ, again, as everyone mentioned, there's 2 ways. You can vote by contributing your Atom in donations, which the matching pool does get allocated based on kind of the weighted votes there, and also voting separately via Macy voting on our platform. It doesn't cost you anything. Gas is covered. If you're an Atom staker, you probably got caught in a snapshot. Go and vote for your favorite teams. You can vote for more than one. This isn't like the top team gets all the grants. It gets allocated based on your community votes and thoughts. So very important to engage here. So definitely everybody go check it out. Up next, my next victim, incredible grantee, pessimistic validation. If you're ready, sir, Jeremy.
I am ready. Let me share my screen.
All right, you're hot. Go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, so yeah, my name is Garba, and this is for pessimistic validation. or interchain attestation, as it is currently being renamed to. Takes a bit of time. The initial goal of this project was to enable IBC for optimistic rollups in particular, hence the play with word on pessimistic validation. It has grown a bit to sort of enable IBC for basically anything that isn't easily covered by a light client today. Things like Solana, for instance, can be slightly tricky for this, and Ethereum and things like that. And of course, still the optimistic rollups is a big an important part of this, because there this problem is the same. It's hard to do light clients when you have a single, basically a single validator, which is like the sequencer. So that's where it came from, and that's what's happening. Yeah. So my name is Jarman Garba. I'm an engineer in Cosmos. I work at not at the IFC, but the ICF for the IBC team. And yeah, so pessimistic validation or interchain attestation, enabling IBC. So again, like I said, the initial use case was around optimistic rollups having very bad UX, with like the bridging having to have a 7-day or some sort of a period where you have to wait until you can safely take it out, because you need to wait for this for any potential fraud proofs. The goal was to try to solve that and enable proper direct IBC without having to have this intermediary chains that you don't necessarily know how they've implemented, and you don't really know what's going on. Yeah, and it's also architected to be able to leverage CK proofs later, and to have like the validators aggregate and do that. But just to basically sort of show how this works. So the reason it was called pessimistic validation, and the reason it's pessimistically validating, is that you use the receiving chain. So for instance, some sort of Cosmos proof of stake chain like the hub, or Osmosis or whatever. And then you have another chain that you want to connect with IBC, such as an optimistic rollup or Ethereum or whatever. And so the way it works today is that you trust the validators on the other chain, and you check that everything has happened as you expect, and that the whole validators has signed off. If you can't do that easily, then what you can do instead is pessimistically validate that other chain. And basically, the validators on the receiving chain would run, or some of them would run full nodes of the chain that they want to connect with. So like a rollup, you would have a full node, so you don't need to do all the validation stuff. You just need to run the full node, and you can through that you can get very safe assumption that there is no fraud, because you would actually detect it. And the way it works is that the validators basically update a special light client. It's currently here called pessimistic light client, but it's an attestation light client. So the validators attestate to the chain. And when you have done that, you can do normal IBC without any changes whatsoever. So it just works. And it's made to be configurable so that you can have opt-in for validators. So you can have like a certain amount of security that you require for some chain. For some chains, you might not need that much security to actually have a reasonable IBC connection, but for others, you might want more. So it can be like opt-in, or you can configure it to that all the validators need to run full nodes for whatever chains that you set up. And it's also going to have like different incentives and slashing included as well. Yeah, just very quickly on the technical stuff, it's basically a sidecar that the validators run that connects to their full node that they're running, and then they vote on the state of that chain and update it with the void extensions that you have in Comet BFT. And then that updates the live client. And then, like I said, you use IBC as usual. Yeah, one of the things that sort of changed since this was initially started was that we figured out a good way to do the live client so that it doesn't actually, it's not specific to any type of chain. It actually just uses packet commitments and verifies that they exist. And using that, any chain that can implement IBC, and that is actually not that difficult, especially with some upcoming big changes to IBC. It will be very easy to just implement this using smart contracts on, on the EVM or on Solana or whatever. So that way we can actually have IBC connected directly without having to have intermediaries. So, like for instance, you could have Cosmos Hub, just as an example, connect and validate a bunch of rollups, and sort of have the Cosmos Hub be like a liquidity hub. And with multi-hop, you could easily have any other chain access to the whole interchain ecosystem, which I'm including Ethereum and whatever in, because the interchain will be basically everything. Stargaze is planning to use this to connect with. They're gonna be certain optimistic rollups that will be NFT specific, and Ethereum, of course, that has a lot of NFTs, and being able to connect directly with those and have ICS 721 to have them over is a big win. Yeah, I'm just gonna jump past that one. Yeah, it's not actually so important. The conclusion is that with this, you can basically add IBC to anything, or have IBC everywhere, because it covers all the use cases where the live clients are currently difficult. So any chain that can implement IBC can be connected to Cosmos chains, proof of stake chains. And you get true IBC without extra intermediaries. And that is it, and all I had.
Like how you say, that's it. That's a lot of it, and a lot of stuff, and a lot of cool stuff. And really looking forward to kind of, as as this kind of progresses, how teams implement what you and everyone are building. So again, DoraHacks.io /AEZ, go vote. Voting's open for the next 2-ish weeks, something like that. And again, these are rolling grants. If you're listening and you're building stuff for public goods in Cosmos, apply. We do want to help fund more incredible teams like German and the Pessimistic Rollup, and also the on-chain registry for Cosmos. Up next, chain abstraction. What a hot topic, chain abstraction. We like chain abstraction. I wish there was more abstraction. Crofton, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Is my audio great? Everything is fine?
Everything's good. You're good to go. Handing it off. Sure. Go ahead.
Awesome. Really excited. This is my first, I'm representing Mega Rock team, and it's our first time here in the round 3. So really excited to be here. And but it's not our first time with DoraHacks specifically. So we're really thankful to the platform for organizing and everything. But let us go to the presentation. So we don't actually have a demo, so gonna improvise it a little bit. So I guess we already wrote most of it in our build page. But we are basically building different tools and actually applications for chain and account abstraction. But we have a specific point of view. We are doing chain abstraction from a point of view of application specifically. Most of the teams and builders out there, they are focusing on more infrastructure kind of side of chain abstraction. So they are building wallets, they are building new modules through the blockchain, which is absolutely awesome and terrific job what they're doing. But when it comes to building an actual application, there's still a lot of work on the developers to actually plug it inside their application. And sometimes they don't even need all of that. Sometimes it might be really simple. So we're basically trying to build like a new generation of applications that could onboard like new type of developers that are not native to Cosmos or like any other ecosystems, because like there's multiple problems right now in like Web3 world. There's a lot of maxis basically, so there are people who will only live on Base and they only have like MetaMask or other Ethereum wallet, and they never touch Kepler. They don't know how to install it, or Kepler or like Leap or any other Cosmos wallet. Same with Solana. People like Bitcoin have experts and they're completely living in their separate world, and it's like hard. It's a tough job to onboard them. So like if we're talking about like onboarding new users, first like it's good nice idea to focus on the Web3 native first. But like even with Web3 native first, core like market is just like people native to our ecosystem, which is kind of limiting. It's like limiting the uh, liquidity, limiting like user base. Like it's a tough thing to tackle. And some applications might just simply onboard it. They don't need like complex safe type of wallet for the app. They just want user who only have MetaMask and nothing else to just be able to use their app. So this is what we're focusing on. We kind of took this concept of accounts from Web2 world, where you sign in on Facebook, they create an account for you, they like keep track of your friends, and you just have your account with the information related to the Facebook. Your Facebook account doesn't have information about your music preferences, like like the apartments you get on Airbnb and this so forth. Currently, like this is not the thing with Web3. You have your unique ID of your wallet, your address, and everything, all the applications, like all DeFi, all NFT holdings, they put all this information on your address. So there's no that much problem per se, but sometimes you want to limit like it. Therefore, for example, if someone checks your address, they can immediately see all your history. With if you're separated into multiple accounts, it's kind of traceable since we are mostly building on a public blockchain, but it's way harder. So like, you need to do a lot of analytics, and like most of the people are not going to be doing that. And also, like, why would you create a separate account? You can with the since we touched a little bit of chain abstraction, we're and like infrastructure that other teams are building is what they're focusing on is like general solution that might be useful for many apps. But sometimes an application can have their specific, like really custom way of authenticating users. To take a great example, to bring up a great example, there's a thing called mini apps on Telegram. A lot of Web3 users, they're using Telegram already, and like there's recently been boom of mini apps. They are basically inside the Telegram. You can have like you can build web applications and the experience will be as it's like native Telegram thing. Like it's work really greatly with the tone, but technically you can create a Quasumosm smart account that only controlled with your Telegram, and then you can build a mini app Telegram game with a representation on Cosmos Hub, like for the mini account, and you don't need it to be like general. You only create an account for the specific application. You still can control it with either with Telegram or optionally like as a backup with your normal Kepler address, and everything is fine. Like this is a sort of thing that like we want to accomplish. And when you start doing it, like you realize it's really hard. If Telegram is kind of far-fetched example because like it's a lot of work to make it possible, but just like onboarding if MetaMask users, this is like quite trivial. You can just ask user to sign a normal Ethereum message and then you can validate it on chain. But like it's still a lot of work to do manually. There's like some cryptographic knowledge you need to know. And but if we go to something more complex like passkeys, this is like way more complicated. Like there's quite only a few teams that have been able to pull it off. Like there's a lot of work has to be done. Like for example, we recently not been working on the front end side of things, like and to support passkeys, and there's not that many examples of team in Cosmos ecosystem using it. Like we found Kujira, so like props to them. Like they have like excite really great examples. But like while through this experience, we noticed a lot of challenges, and So while we're building applications, we realize that we'll be doing the same thing again. So primarily, we realize this is better to do in such a way that it's reusable and get in to simplify experience for as ourselves as a team to build it easier in the future, but also for the other team. That's what our public good part comes in. Like, we're building everything in open source, so other teams can also see this insane work that it's required to pull it off, and just simply reuse the existing logic and bring the chain abstraction to their applications way easier. Customize it any way they want, and use the existing infrastructure to make it easier. Yeah, and as you can see from the build, there's multiple parts from it. Like we first we ported existing standards that exist in other ecosystems. For example, in Ethereum, they have a standard for telling whether a signature is valid. So, for example, when you log in certain websites, they ask you to sign a message to log in, but you sign this message with your native wallet. But what if you have like your smart contract based abstract, like a chain abstracted account? Then an application need to ask the smart contract, okay, is this guy like just signed a message, is it valid or not? So, but you need to standardize this sort of thing, and like how do you talk to account? How do you get like information from the account? So this all these things need standardization, and we took like the best of the existing world and brought it to Cosmos. And then we have like library for actually verifying doing this logic. So like it's a lot of cryptographic primitives that users need to be aware. Like what do you need to verify like Ethereum message? What do you need to verify? Even the Cosmos message is like if your application is primarily on Cosmos Hub or like a Neutron, but you want to allow users from Neutron to do something, then it's like without IBC, because IBC is great, but sometimes you want to do things natively. You want to talk directly to the contract to make it faster, because like IBC, it's also sometimes it might work in many cases, but in some cases it might be too slow because it takes like from 5 to 20 seconds. Hopefully, like way faster in the future, thanks to the other applicants here. But in practice, like you want to onboard even other Cosmos users, and like there's a lot of things you need to know how to verify the signature from other Cosmos wallet. And same thing with the passkeys. So we have the logic for doing everything on chain, and soon like when it comes to milestones, like that we're going to be building, we're doing the same thing, the client side libraries. So it's going to be super easy, like a full integrated stake. Ideally, like future dApps, they won't even need to know all this concept. I want so that MetaMask users and passkeys, like mobile passkeys users, just use my app, and I don't want to understand like how signatures and cryptography work there. They just like use the client library and it's working. And we working together closely with other teams. Like for example, this feature is also requested by Abstract SDK team, like the other Guarantee here, at least in the past. And yeah, exciting. And also we are partnering with other wallets. For example, right now we only focusing on simple cases, allowing the apps themselves to do complex ones. But and also since we're focusing on dApp, on abstraction from the dApp perspective, we don't touch the thing that wallets, for example, do. Like there's a lot of things that wallets do. Like there's great teams like Vectis, OB, they'll have like a lot of things like session keys, like limits, like so making sure that a malicious application didn't trick a user to spending huge amounts. So there's like limits on the spending amounts per day or per something. So we're also looking to make it easier to integrate this smart wallets into this account concept. And yeah, there's just a lot of things going on. So like we already published all the milestones there. So yeah, but this is it on our side.
Yeah, thanks for all that. It sounds like you're working on some cool stuff. Like it'd be probably faster to ask what you're not going to try to do. But very, very, very cool stuff. Very, very, it sounds like a lot of teams are already getting engaged with you, which is good. In the state of open source tooling, we can always do a lot more there. So very, very excited to see again what comes out of yours. As you can see, we have a lot of great projects in here. Everybody watching and listening that do deserve a lot of support, a lot of funding. If I had infinite money, I'd gladly throw more at this. But we believe a lot in this program, and as you can see, it's a no BS program. All of these builders are incredibly high level builders. These aren't like top of the funnel projects. These are senior builders in the space. So do support them, do reach out, do vote, and do get engaged if you want to integrate or implement their technologies. I'm sure they would take your call. And we're gonna move ahead. Again, thank you, Crompton, from the chain abstraction tools and accounts, DoraHacks.io /AEZ. Go check out all of the builds. This one's a little bit different. We have a lot of tech in this space. We have a lot of open source tooling in the space, but public goods grants and public goods do extend well beyond technology to other important facets of the ecosystem. We need teams like this to develop as well. La multi-sig. You're a little bit different. You're not tooling, but you do a lot of other cool things that are really important for us. But I will leave you to tell us about what you got going on. I know you're down in Argentina. La multi-sig, Nina and Milstein. You have the floor.
No,
That's
hey
it.
guys.
Hey guys, are you listening to us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Nice.
perfect. Well, we both are. My name is Milstein. She's Nina. Obviously, we are the co-founders of La Multisig. For the short introduction, and for whoever doesn't listen or heard about us, and La Multisig, I don't know why.
Okay, wait.
Are you?
Now.
Now it is. Sorry. That's it. At LAT Multisig, we know that LATAM is the next Web3 hub of the world. And we are both based in LATAM. Nina is from Colombia. I am from Argentina. And we know the potential that this region has in Web3. And most important for Cosmos, because Cosmos awareness in this part of the world is very low. And there is a lot of things that we can do together. We started creating content for a long time ago to try to educate people about how the potential, the things they can do in Cosmos. And we also host many events in Buenos Aires and also in Medellin. And that's what we are doing to share the vision of the Cosmos Hub and our vision. We also want to give you an update of what we have been doing this last month after the Run 2. And Nina, do you want to?
Yeah, so basically we know the potential that the LATAM has, and we really enjoy bringing people together. Latin America has a culture of being very personal in their relationships and in the way that we approach everything. We base ourselves a lot in like the trust of each other, looking at each other at the eyes, and like really having to share and make like personal questions on the spot. So for all the culture here is very important. Also here in LATAM, we not only have users, because yes, we have a lot of users, the user adoption is just growing, but also we have use cases, which we definitely need more in Cosmos. And we have developers. We have a lot of developers. This is a highly educated population. We have a lot of systems engineers, like software engineers, but also we have a lot of people that have been like teaching themselves how to develop. And that's one of like the biggest reasons why we needed to focus also on this. Now, one of the biggest barriers, of course, is the language. So our job is to like translate everything and make possible to these people to understand what's going on, why they should come to Cosmos, get them to interact more, and also like make all the bridges in like the different connections that we can have with different protocols, with different founders and stuff. So what we have been doing is it goes both ways. One is for us to go to events like Nebular Summit and to ETHCC in Brussels, where we understand more of what is happening and then translating all that content to the people that are locally here, connecting them. If you go to the map, Argentina is so far, Colombia is so far, so we need in a way to connect them with what is going on in the rest of the world. And we make also those connections to connect the local builders with the rest of the projects that might be needing them. So we had a Nebular Summit. We were there. We were community partners. We translated a lot of the content. We did like both ways there. We had Cosmos Medellin 1 month ago. That was 200 plus people. We did that with the guys from Cosmoverse and with Keychain. It was an amazing experience. I can tell you that 80% of the room didn't even know what Cosmos is. So we really had to start like decoding the most simple things of everything. So there you go, like over 200 people, and we opened that day over 30 wallets, Kepler wallets, Leap wallets, onboarded completely like new people into the project. We had also like entrepreneurs, people in the RWA spectrum. We had a lot of new developers from universities, and they want to keep doing these things. So we have the alliances there, and that was beautiful to see. Of course, that was my country, so even more beautiful for me. Then we have Aleph. Aleph is where we are actually right now. So Aleph Ciudad de Crecimiento, which means growth, is basically something that is happening in Buenos Aires right now. It's a pop-up city of 1 whole month. People from all around the world came here to see how we can partner with the different communities, with the government, with universities, and to create together for the region. They want to bring more of the developers. We have been having like a couple of talks here and there. We also have, we are the community partners of the event. And yeah, we're going to be here the whole month. Now, we had an event last Wednesday, which was Bridge Buenos Aires with the guys from Nodes Guru. We helped them organize everything, and we introduced Cosmos to everyone. Again, the result was very interesting. Not a lot of people knew about Cosmos, and a lot of them mentioned that there was a depth of Cosmos to actually come here and speak in Spanish and like try to solve questions and stuff. We also used this event to invite them to the next event, which was Cosmos Buenos Aires on Friday. We had in total more than 150 people, of which 80% completely new. You have to be really creative with these people. So we had like alfajores, and with alfajores, they're like cookies with different like layers. And with that, we taught them what modularity was. So you have to like really do things with their own culture and like with everything so that they can understand what's going on. The questions that we had were everything like, do you have miners? Or do you have validators? Like it was completely new to them. They were really excited, and we promised that we were going to continue. And actually, we're planning to have other 2 small events, one at the end of September and the other one in November. To have a little bit more of continuity on this, we are also seeing like the different pain points of people. Like they want to learn more about like, what is Cosmos SDK? What is the language that you program in here? How can they like get in contact with the foundation in this case, because they are familiar with Ethereum, not with Cosmos. So yeah, here's some of the people that we had there. And then last Wednesday, we started officially the series Cosmos en Español. That was based on the pain points that we saw in Cosmos Medellin. As I said, there is not a lot of people that understand in general, like even the difference between Cosmos ecosystem and Cosmos Hub. So we needed to decode everything and to start from zero. So we already made like a couple of tutorials in how to like open your first Kepler wallet and your first Leap wallet and little things like that. And now we're continuing with different experts that are also from LATAM or that speak Spanish. In this case, we had Facu. Facu is from the Atom Accelerator. And he had the challenge also to explain everything as if we are 5 years old. So that was very interesting to see, because the questions that we had were like very normies, because this is for normies. But also it was a challenge for him to say like, okay, let me decode this and think about everything that I have done in much more normal terms, because we need to talk like that to new developers and especially to new users. So this is the series that we just started. We are going to have it every single Wednesday, and it's going to have a total of 12 episodes so far. So it's going to be long, and we already had a good audience. 419 just that day on the live streaming. We also had in the live streaming of Cosmos Buenos Aires, we had over 500 people watching live. And then in Medellin, we have over 1,500 people watching live. So I'm really excited about this. Like, I didn't thought that was possible. But of course, it's not just these two phases. We have this amazing team. We have developers, we have community managers, we have writers, we have video editors, and it's been a great job also, like, to work together with different projects like Kitchen, like Cosmoverse, like DoraHacks, like whoever that is willing to come here and to help. They have been a part of this, and they are going to be receiving invitations. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you guys have been in the space for freaking ever, just like I have. So, it's great to see you guys expanding, continuing to contribute, and also LATAM is, I think everybody in this ecosystem knows how I feel about LATAM at this point. But La Multi-Sig, another one of our grantees doing some incredible stuff. Again, for those of you listening, this is for the DoraHacks AEZ Quadratic and Quadratic voting round, where we have 8,000 Adam, 33,333 USDC that's allocated to this round. It costs you nothing to go and vote via Macy. If you're an Adam stick, you can vote and figure out where, decide where that 33,000 goes in USDC. And if you want to vote via quadratic funding mechanisms that we also have, you can donate your Adam. And again, in a quadratic fashion, you are able to vote where and decide where this matching pool goes. Again, 8,000 Adam, it's not nothing. It's not what it was 6 months ago, but it's still a decent amount, and we have to support the builders, and it's going out anyway. So cast your vote. Even 0.1 or 0.01 Adam does help move the needle. Again, the way we structure the voting is smaller votes can tip the scales against a bigger whale because of how quadratic funding and voting works. So get out and vote, get engaged, and help out. I don't know what you guys are drinking. But
Argentinian mate.
Yeah,
you have to come, man.
Very special.
Everyone's drinking, so I went and stopped and got some. We're all drinking, so shoot. Again, go out and vote. DoraHacks.io/AEZ. Again, really incredible stuff from the Cosmos registry team with Lavender 5, who's not here right now. They had to dip out. Pessimistic Validation, of course, returning with Jermond and friends. Chain Abstraction. Cromston with his, that looks like a rock star energy or monster energy, because he needs all the energy he can get here to, keep building some cool stuff. And La Multi-Sig with Argentinian mate is what my understanding was. I think they're just trying to make me feel bad about not making the trip. But community, DoraHacks.io/AEZ, go and vote, go contribute. If you have questions, do reach out to me on Twitter. Do reach out to the accounts on Twitter. Reach out to any of these teams. If you want to work with them, they are open to work with people and support our ecosystem. Don't be a stranger. These are incredible people doing incredible things. And a lot of them are doing it for free. So for the benefit of the community. So do reach out. Everybody, thank you very much. All of you, incredible projects. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for doing what you do. Voters, go and vote, go contribute. And if you're building something, apply for a grant. These are rolling grants for the next 2-ish years, a little bit less than that. If you're in round 1, you're also in round 2 and round 3 and round 4. If you get in, so the idea of the grants is to do ongoing funding so that they're not always trying to chase the next grant is the idea. So come and contribute. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a wonderful day, and take care, all of you. Thanks a lot, guys, girls, everybody. And mate. All right, Lynn, we can go ahead and
you have to taste the mate, Trevor.
I would love to. I feel like I should reach in and grab some. I can't even tell what it looks like, but it looks good, which is, I don't know how that works.
Look, this look like
that looks like you should I
It's
have my
not
own.
with.
It looks like you should take a lighter to it, and then go on it. I think we're still streaming, which is funny.
We just needed to clarify.
We are sharing our culture.
Yeah, this
I'm going to explain liquidity with my
Liquidity.
next time.
And it's not bad. That's not bad.
yeah, we are a pro mate community.
Yes, exactly.
Bye, bro.
Lynn, we can go ahead and tie it up. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you soon, hopefully on the ground.
Sure.
I'll see you guys.
Bye, Fred.
Bye, man.